Hi, well, for the first objection is the money objection, price-oriented objection, where one of the techniques I could use is compensate for the objection, where I could say something like, I understand where you come from. If I were you, I would also be worried about the investment and the ROI this present. I used to think that investment only represents the worker's salary, but I found this technology represents the mitigation of errors, better forecast reports, employment insurance, healthcare, compensation, delays, and other costs, another hidden costs that really affect the quality, and profitability of the company. And I would say a trial clause, something like, would you be interested in improving your profitability, reducing costs? As a second technique, I could use a postpone the objection, where I could say, I'm glad you brought that up. I was hoping you would like to know first some of the benefits this new technology can bring to the table. This robot can work 45% faster than human cashiers, improving the customer flow, reducing the queue lines, and increasing sales. Reduce salary and extra costs like healthcare payments, work insurance, overtime, holidays, among other extra costs, and reduce waste and errors. As a trial clause, I could ask, are you interested in reducing costs and increasing sales? The second objection is a no-need objection, where I could use the following techniques: let a third party answer or pass out the objection. As a let a third party answer, I could say, I completely understand your concern. Actually, our best customer had the same concern before making the purchase. Look, here is a list of our current customers using our product, and I believe they can tell you what they did in order to solve that concern. And as a trial close, I could ask, would you be willing to contact them right now and ask them their opinion and their solutions to that concern? Then, as a passive objection technique, I could say, I truly understand your concern. Could you explain me more about this? After he explained the concern, I could say, I got it. We can create a plan according to your necessities, completely start when your cashier's contracts are over, or we could start with a trial so you can see the effectiveness of the robot. And as a trial close, I could ask, would you be interested in any of those options? Well, the third objection is a product objection where I could use the following techniques: the boomerang technique or ask questions to smoke out the objection. Whereas the first one, the boomerang, I could start saying thank you for saying that. If we know that the customer satisfaction is crucial for sales and we are experts developing robots to improve services and this happened, what do you think we would do? The client could reply, improve the services, and I could reply to that, exactly. We are compromising developing and improving the robot functionality to satisfy our clients. As a trial close, I could ask, are you interested in that? As a second technique, I could use the ask questions to smoke out objection, where I could start saying, beside the limited conversation abilities, is there any other reason for not going ahead? The client could say no, and I could say, well, suppose that you could convince yourself that the robot has not limited interaction and it will not affect your customers, then you would want to go ahead with it. The client could also say not sure, where I could end the conversation with a third clause asking, what would it take for me to convince you that the robot will not affect your customers for limited conversational? The fourth objection is a price-oriented objection or the money objection, where I could use the first technique I decide, which is rephrase an objection as a question, where I could start saying, I completely understand your concern and I appreciate that you mentioned that. Let me tell you the reason of the maintenance cost. The robot will be updated to the most recent system to improve even more its functionality, expected life, ensure a quality product, and if there is an issue even with the maintenance, you have a guarantee and policy which will cover it if you follow the maintenance process. And I could end the conversation with a title clause asking, do you see how important and the benefits the maintenance can bring to the table? The second technique I could use is the indirectly deny, where I could start saying, I understand your concern about the maintenance cost. It might be an extra cost besides the cost of the robot, but this maintenance will extend the time life of the robot, and the longer the time life, the bigger the cashier savings. I could end the conversation asking a trial clause, like, are you interested in saving more money for many more years?